Yo! What up, what up? Yo! Yeah, I just discovered this song today. It's called Right Side by Late Loomer featuring Doja Cat. I don't own the rights to the song or anything, but like to come in on a little vibe out sesh. Vibin'.
Gotta pay attention, can't be slipping, cause Mercury's bending retrograde. Hit the stage, spray the crowd with water, all the girls in white t-shirts go berserk. I don't want no fucking label deal, give me touring, publishing, and all my merch. Whoa, I'll be a star when they don't know. You niggas Galileo, see me shining telescope, score, but you can never come close.
Where are you at these days? I've been in Guatemala for like a year now. It's been awesome. The song does have a line that says like only good vibes, which I am like anti only good vibes, I suppose. I feel like having dissonance or shadow work, you know, times that like aren't super blissed out and chill, like bring so much of enjoyment and insight for times that are super trippy, blissy, chilly, you know what I mean? So I get that it's like a t-shirt, like good vibes only, like a meme good vibes only, but like on a subconscious level it's like, oh, don't want to like nod along too much to that. Shoot, I haven't seen you since South Dakota. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so crazy to think of, okay, what was now 2 years ago, 2019, and what I was doing. I basically, when I think about it, I don't know why I did it or like how I did it, but I basically was inspired to fill up the Jeep that I had at the time with a bunch of like herbs and medicinal medicines, like totally legal, everything, just like herbal medicine to like heal wounds and help with anxiety and stuff like that. And I knew someone that was going to be at an event, and I just followed a trail of just like Rainbow Magic trail, you know what I mean? But I kept my head on my shoulders. I kept grounded in that. My mantra was good people, good food, beautiful nature. Not good, but like beautiful, like enhancing to what I liked based on my subjective values. So I was going with the flow. I had events that I wanted to do, but I knew like if the people got too off kilter, or if like the environment I was in got too off kilter, or the food, like if I wasn't eating well, you know, it's really easy to eat shitty while you're traveling. But those were my, like if I checked in and I was in alignment on those three bases, I was like, woo, let's go on the hike or whatever. Best tea ever. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting energy for me lately. Like I was more excited for December 21st and like the solstice and like the shift, like the collective manifestation that like whether something objectively happened or not, even like suspending that, so many people on the collective consciousness level were like, this is a day, like this is a time for change. Like the year was already so charged, so like the 21st seemed like I don't know, like finally having this like orgasmic experience after getting fucked all year. You know, I'm just kidding, I'm being silly, but it felt very cathartic. I remember like greeting the sun as it rose that morning, and after that light it was just like shadow. Of course looking at my own stuff, but like I know multiple people that have passed away. I know people who people close to them passed away. I know people going through breakups. You know what I mean? Like, not to say that that doesn't happen at times. It just seemed like a lot of it was happening bestie ever, Alex Drum. Yeah, so riding that wave of energy from, okay, new dawn, new everything, but first, here's a lot of death and breakups and grief and all of that, and I want to say, like, it gets easier to do shadow work or grieve or all of that, and, like, that's not what I want to say. It's not that it gets easier, it's hard. Okay, so, like, having a really intense workout or running a marathon, that's by no means easy, but if you commit to wanting the end result of that process, like, it becomes, like, the practice gets more refined and cultivated. Not to say it has to be some beautiful process, you know what I mean? But I'm, like, reflecting on myself and, like, the life loops, life cycles, and I'm like, whoa, I'm, like, being able to, like, sink my teeth in deeper to the mystery that is, like, death and loss and all of that stuff. And I feel like when I would stare into the void in that way before, I would get very nihilistic. I'd be like, oh, well, if it ends, then screw, like, if the series is going to end, why watch the show? And that would be, like, my cognitive shortcut, or, like, bypassing actually living, you know? So I feel like, back to the, like, good vibes only type of thing, I feel like I'm, in my personal practice, better. I am able to hold better space within my own being, energetically, my nervous system, breathing, during high sensory, high sensation experiences. And I want to credit Carolyn Elliott, one of my major magical, witchy, shadow worky influences, who really drew my attention to that spot, so to speak. That spot being, how well can you stay conscious and present during high sensory experiences? That's not to say, like, blindfold yourself and go out into the middle of traffic and just, like, zen out. Like, don't, that's not what I'm saying. Like, common sense totally applies. But I'll just observe, someone will tell me something, they might even preface it like, oh, this might seem weird, but, and then, like, I'll get that reflection and I'll be able to, or, like, I'm practicing being totally present with whatever, owning the sensation or, like, the reaction as mine, but ultimately giving back that energy to the other person. You know what I mean? Like, that's been my practice lately, and oh my gosh, has there been practice in that work during these past few weeks, and it's, like, still happening. Someone else I know passed away just the other day. There's, like, funeral, church going all day today, just, like, praising, and I saw this beautiful little blip of light today that was, oh, there's a church really near to me, and these people are, like, practicing and cultivating, like, the energy of praise. So, not to say drop on your knees and worship some object, but it's just this sense of, like, ritual coming together, diverting from the daily mundane humdrumness of existence. And, you know, some people might call it partying, some people might call it praising, whatever, but it's like a feeling of connecting with, like, the Holy Spirit, if you will, that I definitely grew up around, and I got to tune into that familiar spirit, just seeing it differently for the first time. It's been around me, but seeing what has been around me in that different way was interesting today, and it came from that seed of, you know, someone passed away. That's why I'm more paying attention to what's going on right there. So, needless to say, infinitely tripped out and riding the waves of, like, paradox and lesson learning and new questions coming up as some answers come in. But really my intention for going live right now is to express what I've been working on the past. I've been working on this on and off for like a year maybe. Like, I think 2020 was when I got serious about this, and this was learning something when I knew nothing about cryptocurrency and the crypto sphere, crypto universe, all of it. So my journey with that began maybe like 2017. I had some friends back in Columbus, Ohio who, you know, like, conscious and, like, we're changing our diet and we're, like, thinking about the things and we're talking about the things. And for me, that was super new. I was, like, just breaking out of, like, the matrix, the whatever. So this is, like, fresh consciousness, like, what up? And I had so much fear around cryptocurrency for some type of reason. So much fear was associated with it. And I was just messaging my friend earlier today, like, it doesn't make any sense, logical sense, why I was afraid to do something I'd never done before, given that I had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like, looking at it that way, it's like, aha, how silly. It's like I'm my higher self looking back at that version of myself, being like, oh, you silly, you'll find out, ha ha ha. So that was my first, that was the first introduction of cryptocurrency into my consciousness, collective consciousness, my community, but it didn't feel communal. It felt very much like this is for some people and they go off and that's like just their world, their vortex. And if you're not, how I was experiencing it was, if you're not all in with them to go there, then that's not for you. And for me, I was like, well, hey, I'm trying to learn about chakras, I'm trying to learn about herbs and plants. I do not have the time to like surrender my whole life to learning about cryptocurrency right now. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of afraid. As a matter of fact, I think this is kind of stupid, and just like thoughts came. And you know, I hold so much space and gratitude for that version of myself that said no to learning those lessons at that time, because I was able to learn other stuff. That other stuff then lays the foundation for me to tackle getting deeper into crypto like I've been doing this year. So I want to shout out Seven Bomar, Secret Energy. That whole container has been such a oasis and a refreshing collective resonance of other beings with similar values and intentions, and like maybe even like phenotypes sometimes, you know, like that. And yeah, besides the whole crypto anything, the Secret Energy bubble, so to speak, was just a place to go. And it's like, okay, you want to learn more about diet, you can go over here. Oh, you want to learn more about mindfulness and meditation. Oh, you want to learn more about decoding words that you were like not even thinking had these meanings, but now we're talking about it, and this is like entomology and code breaking and spells and all of that stuff. So of course, when I was first introduced to this information, I got really into just like the esoteric, the way far out there, the like what no one was talking about, Like in my little world, people, like normal people, were already talking about money, and I was like, okay, that's boring. What's going on with breathwork? What's going on with psychic telecommunication? You know what I mean? Telepathy. And I'm coming to this place right now, like I said, this place of integrating polarities, or like seeming opposites, and I'm seeing how without a very practical, grounded, real world foundation that requires money, without that, I and beings like myself, based on our own testimonies, can't have what we actually need to tap into some of the places we would like to go, whether inner space with ourselves, space with other people, how we want to show up and nourish our community, all of that type of stuff. So for a while, I knew this whole like financial literacy, this crypto stuff, I knew that I needed to do it, but I didn't want to do it. It's kind of like some people go to the gym and they love it, some people go to the gym and they hate it, some people they don't go to the gym, you know. So I'm like, I'm in the gym, but I'm hating it, I'm dreading it. And over the course of this past year, I've seen how many tools and other beings are coming into the space similar to myself, at different levels of understanding finances, of understanding their own sovereignty, how they wish to relate to their own sovereignty. Everyone coming into that newer space of, okay, how do we develop this leg of sovereignty while also bringing what we've been working on for these past few years, few lifetimes, whatever. And it's super interesting. So yeah, all of that to say, shout out to Secret Energy. I have my little notes here. Touched on how just like afraid I was to use emotion words so afraid, and like I've just become aware of just how afraid I was to start playing this game years ago when I had less to lose and more time. Don't understand it. I'm going to sit with that more, but I say that to inspire others who might be feeling fear and not just, learning more about finances or cryptocurrency, but really with anything, because I'm like, I don't know what we actually have to lose besides our own sense of mental comfort with accepting our limits for what they are at that time. You know what I mean? Okay, so that leads me into one of the many blessings that 2020 brought, which was to fear less. I know I hear people say like surrender a lot of the time, and I don't resonate with like surrendering or letting go of control. That could be my ego talk, that it literally is my ego talking, but just getting at how powerful words are. A word that resonates more with me to that same energy is to like fear less. Like, don't put all of this energy into like what literally probably won't happen. There's a line in a song by Nako Bear and Medicine for the People, and of all the things I fear, it isn't now and it isn't here. So, on one end, don't dig your head in the sand and be like, la la la, it's not here, so no fear. On the other end, it's like, hey, if you are freaking out and having these thoughts about things that literally aren't happening, like you're worrying, you're thinking about the future too much. So again, this balanced place of having, yes, a healthy, rational fear, but not letting that hold you back in irrational ways from things that literally will help you fortify yourself from more fear in the future, So like, I'm newly processing it for myself. It's part of why I wanted to hop on here. I dig processing. What else? Okay, so in the microcosm that was me facing fears and cultivating an awareness of financial responsibility as a sovereign being and how to do that with the powerful technology that I'm seeing of cryptocurrency, mixed with I'm already vibing with like the secret energy tribe, and like this invention, this technology is introduced into the space called WealthyBot. And it was almost like as if I'd been introduced to Bitcoin all over again. My first reaction was just like fear, like new, different fear. So like on one hand, I can load up my car, drive across the country, do pop-up events, meet cool people, host events. Like I, on paper, am very brave, but then I'm noticing, okay, these things though really gets your fear going up. So yeah, I had fear in response to WealthyBot being introduced into this new sovereign space, but alas, there was nowhere to go but through, and nothing else to do but figure out how to not just get sovereign, but to be sustainably sovereign and regenerative in that energy to be able to sustain that throughout space and time and lend it to other people in resonant ways, So this is another reason why I really like secret energy so much. It's like it met me at this place of, okay, I want this, but I'm really scared, and I just like might dip and just like really not even own that I want to do this. So in the, say, metaphysical or spiritual, mental, emotional development realm, secret energy has so much content out there on the internet, on YouTube, podcast, all of this stuff. It's like a way to, within the system, in introducing ways and the types of beings and ways of doing things, that introduces that to people who might, like myself, be afraid of that, in a way that is releasing some of that fear, in a sense of, hey, you don't have to pay anything, you don't just here, tune into it, it's there, cool. And then that leaves me, or anyone else, from a more empowered stance of, okay, like I'm really doing this because I want to do it. Then I'm not being coerced. I'm not like, oh well, I've already paid the whatever, so I need to like I've already bought the gym membership, so I gotta like fake like I want to go. It's like, nah, just don't worry about it. Come in, If you dig it, you stay. If you don't dig it, you leave. Cool. So that that style of interacting with energy corresponded to the WealthyBot system. It corresponded to what is essentially a simulation that you, anyone who wants to, can run a simulation of a AI robot trading these different cryptocurrencies. And I by no means have all of the vocabulary down. I'm merely just sharing what is essentially my journey through processing fears and developing courage in this realm, you know? So, okay, take a little leap of faith and I start the simulation. Like, what else do I have to lose? The world is on lockdown. I'm like in the jungle. I have Wi-Fi. I have fruit to eat. Have like, okay, I'm gonna go for it, you know, like have nothing to lose. It's an experiment. Let's do it. So I think that was like August of 2020. I started the WealthyBot simulation, and I forget what numbers I originally put in there, but it was more realistic. It was realistic to what I would actually put in for real money. And I'm watching it, and it's just like, it's going up, it's making trades, it's going up, it's making trades. And after 3 months, I'm just seeing like, all right, you're earning money. Like, this is designed to where you are earning money from this. And doing like this can't be true, or like, how does this work, even hyper intellectualizing it, which has its place. Like, I want to see how the peanut butter's made, you know what I mean? But it was so freaking cool. So then finally took that next little, you know, like little baby steps, just next little itty baby step was me activating the trader, you know, the WealthyBot simulation, like for real. So yeah, I'm really scared at this point because I'm like, no money in a world where the economy is dead and now everyone's like, that contrasted with, okay, I'm gonna put money where? But again, leap of faith based in observing data, you know, observing my own past experiences and feeling good about how those turned out, you know, like not to say, there's like a distinction between gambling and investment. And for me, not a financial advisor, just on my own journey, for me, I don't ever invest anything that I would struggle, like mentally, physically, emotionally. If I'm gonna struggle, if that never comes back, then that's money that needs put other places. And then once I get more of that, then some can go to investments or stuff like that. So yeah, I'm interested to hear about where you all are at in your money journey. I see it so corresponding to the mind, and you know, my background's in psychology. It's like, oh my, like I am finally having fun at the gym, so to speak, because I'm seeing how connected it is to my mind, and the mind is like probably my favorite domain. So it's like, okay, you're telling me that this new domain that I used to really get frustrated with is actually directly corresponded to one of my favorite domains, and the more I cultivate that, the more I can cultivate this, the more I can cultivate that. The positive feedback system, that is everything. Really, really awesome. Bitcoins, peace to the goddess. Yeah, so then CashApp has their thing going. It's like, oh, you can buy stocks. Oh, you can buy Bitcoin. Like, it's getting, this was me back in the fall of last year. In my experience, I was like, it's getting easier and easier. How am I experiencing this? Oh, it means just do it, just go do it, and you'll be supported. And yes, ran the WealthyBot simulation, ran the actual real thingy thing for 3 months, and yeah, I've been running it ever since, and I've not looked at my stuff for a while. I feel like I go down these crypto finance, financial literacy rabbit holes, and I'll go down really, really like deep dive, and then I'll come back up like 16 hours later, 36 hours later, just like with a bunch of notes being like, who like has the notes with me? Like, where are we going next? So yeah, such deep gratitude for the beings that are in resonance with me in this moment on these particular vibes. next point, support from the tribe. I could do it by myself, but I imagine it would take much longer. It would be an illusion of doing it by myself, and it wouldn't be as fun. So thank you to all of the resonant beings, specifically on this like sovereignty, crypto, emancipation move happening right now. A special shout out to Curtis, One Tribe HMU. I did my first, I took another little baby step after running the WealthyBot simulation for real. I was like, ooh, I could get a coaching session. I could sit down with someone, pay them money, and just come open-minded, and level up, so to speak. I can own that this is something I want to cultivate and use the tools, even more tools that are at my advantage to do this. So yeah, special place in my heart for that brother. Even just the other day, last night, I was going through what I was perceiving as a very frustrating situation, predicament. I reached out to Curtis, instantly hits back, such deep gratitude. I really see how, I don't know for all humans, I know it won't be for all humans, but I'm really excited for what is to come for certain types of people that are choosing to do certain types of things in alignment with natural order, resonance, balance, harmony. Not to say good vibes only, but embodying and depolarizing any imbalances that get it too off vibey kilter. Also, shout out to Paige Flowers. The next little baby step I did after the initial onboarding with Curtis, I did a deeper dive with Paige, and I don't know where any of you are at with engaging with her content, but I had been really resonating and vibing with her content and just her work and her being before the crypto financial wave, I guess. Knew her from the Secret Energy Tribe for I feel a few years. It's hard to think of actual timelines once you feel you've known people for so long, given that you're doing the work together, but yeah, highly recommend her DeFi crypto onboarding. It's go to whatever level, adjust the weights in the gym to whatever level that you are at, to be challenging yourself, but not putting so much on yourself that you're burning out. That's all I recommend. And again, just sharing my process, where I've been, where I'm at with that. So yeah, anyone who is, I would say, not a total beginner, has 101, dive deep in with Paige for in my experience, a more 102, 103 type of deal. But yeah, took it myself, jumped on it while it was still, I think, $99. I know she's doing some adjustments with groups, but the information is inherently so valuable, and these coins, the more time passes, the more the value is going to go up. And that doesn't mean to not do it. That means it's not ever too late. And if you want to do the thing, probably means you should do the thing, or doing that thing would serve you in the long run. Why not do it? If you're oh, I don't have the money to sit down for that class, do you have other people that want to learn with you? Can you all throw in money? You know what I mean? Again, seeing how much money, the energy of money, corresponds to the mind, and how we can play with our perceived limits, checking our privilege, but standing on that, feeling empowered to make money and invest in ourselves in creative ways. Oh, I don't have $130 for this manifestation all-day workshop that I totally want to go to. It's okay, maybe I do. At the same time, I can think, oh, I can invite people over. I can feed them food. It can be a whole day. It can be a fun thing. They all pay however much, and then it's I make money off of the event that I wanted to do in the first place. Again, this takes time, this takes energy. You have to really figure out what is actually worth your time, energy, all of it, to activate and manifest. But just that way of thinking, that way of perceiving the world. Okay, so yeah, I guess that leads to my next little incline in my understanding of the crypto sphere. Not even understanding, just exploration, like a freaking astronaut, like what is out here in this infinite space. So my next little mission in the infinite space of everything, featuring crypto and finance and good vibe, tribe vibe vibes, is I actually held space for someone today for the first time ever to help them set up the basics of some crypto trading, like WealthyBot and all of that. And it is something to be mindful of. Like, you don't want to just let any old person give you advice for anything, you know what I mean? I feel like this information, ourselves, our time, our everything, super sacred. Like, be really discerning in who you're working with and like opening up to in these ways. But in the case of today, I really trusted this person, they really trusted me. I had been talking about my experience, like blah 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 blah. Not all the time. I'm mindful that not everyone is into this, but like I said, I will go just like get obsessed with it and do a deep dive every so often. And they know me well enough to catch these cycles of like, oh my gosh, I like this, it feels like a game almost, it feels like a puzzle, this is fun, I want to spread this energy. And then finally, after talking about it, separate from crypto and finance, I just looked at this person and I was like, do you need anything? Like, what, like, what's up? Like, what do you need, Genie mode? And she's just like, okay, I want a tarot reading and I want you to help me set up this like crypto stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, okay. So then it becomes, oh, do we put it off? Okay, we've said we don't want to do it, we feel we want to do it, we know we can do it, we can do it. What happens next? And what happened next in this instance is we freaking did it the next morning. You know, I was like, okay, maybe like dick around, distract myself, procrastinate a little bit, but the work was there. And I think the onboarding session took longer than both of us might have thought, and it can be like super heady and what would it be, left brain type of analytical thinking and all of that, but we both very much have that part of ourselves. So it was fun, like doing math, solving like math problems with a friend online, and it corresponds to like actual, not just money, but what we can buy with the money, you know what I mean? It's not some math problem in a book disconnected from how you actually live your life. That's how I felt in math in school. But no, never been more stoked to do math. But basically, today, as a milestone in what is honestly a journey that has taken years, I've only really leaned into it this past year because of all the freaking time and signs that we've had, or I've had. I was able today to sit down with information that a few months ago, not only did I not comprehend it at all, but I was so scared of it, I wanted to run away. Like, nope, it sat on my to-do list for months, like mocking me. This is how I'm experiencing it, you know, like a nagging task. Then finally, I sit down and do it. And it was so weird. Today, I'm like, oh, this task that was that much of a dragon to slay months ago, today could simple. Not to say there will be so many more mountains to climb for myself, like I'm still on that journey, but it was really owning like, whoa, this same thing, just because I put the time and repetition and, you know, invested in mentorship and tutelage and learning it, I was able to kind of gracefully, although it was difficult. Teaching holds a certain, I'm still cultivating myself as a teacher, ways I could be more patient, ways I could communicate better, all these little things, but it just felt so good to see, as if going to the gym or running the marathon, you've been training, and finally there's the race, finally there's the competition, finally there's the some external, like ultimately external, or like in the external plane, like, show us what you got, like, can you really do the thing? And again, I don't know everything, but it felt really, really, really good. It feels really, really, really good to know I know so little bit, but that I'm trying my best to know like a bit more, you know, every moment, you know. And yeah, just really, again, grateful for everyone who has been in that supportive teacher mentorship role to myself, and I like really want to stay in my lane for this, I'm just really like, okay, if you are wanting to do this, anything with the crypto sphere or cryptocurrency, I don't want to be like, oh, the time is now, the end is nigh, blah, blah, blah. Like, time will keep going on. Like, the world will keep going on. Everything will change and stuff like that. But for you, for your inner experience, for me, for my inner experience, like, if you want to do the thing and you know it will serve you and you know it will serve everyone else to be able to have a better time, even if it feels like a sacrifice, like going to the gym or running a long time or like brushing your teeth or like wiping your butt, like this human stuff that we do, it's part of it. And you can like sit, I'm talking to myself, like you can sit and be all too spiritual to do human stuff all day, and at the end of the day, where does that get you? Probably being a burden or a drain on someone else's resources that you still think you're like better than because you're more spiritual than them. So yeah, super stoked, super excited for this next year. It's feeling like just more embodying personal truth and taking that to like embodying uniqueness, so to speak, and taking that to the community, to the marketplace, to the wherever. And yeah, let me see, teaching for the first time, onward and upward. And yeah, just I watched the video that Seven Bomar put out, I think a few days ago. The essence of it is be your own bank, owning that. Like, go watch the video. I will link it in the description or link it somewhere, but he gets to the point of you can really, really maximize all the spiritual, conscious stuff you want to do if you get this financial stuff figured out. And he has said before, if you can't figure out the financial stuff, how are you going to master like these other realms, these other things? You know what I mean? It's like play Little League and like work it up and like work it up and like work it up. And I feel like it is just a sign of maturity that I'm even understanding that and like resonating that with that, not as absolute truth. I mean, but you know, it seems to check out as far as like what I'm wanting and what the people who I look up to have actively done and are continuing to do in a very transparent and inspiring way, and not limiting themselves to that. Like, it's not one thing and none of the other things. It's one thing and being able to balance out more of the other things because you have this, you know, bread and butter or heart center or magnum opus or like type of thing. And yeah, if cryptocurrency and finance is not your thing or like one of your things, just like as sentient beings in this earth right now, I think we need to be figuring out how we're making money and resisting forces that wish to abuse our innate value and desire to bring forth our light, our soul, our uniqueness to the world. So it's like, if we're already having that tendency, why not harness it for our own personal sovereignty and not to build someone else's kingdom or factory or like whatever. And yeah, that is all of the bullet pointed notes that I wrote down very hastily in my excitement to share just the little baby steps on my crypto journey. And yeah, I'm curious to hear what you are baby stepping, what your 2021 is going to be. If you can see like the little gems and bits of pearls in the crap, or like darkness or heavier times. And yeah, just soaking it all in, absorbing all of it. I wanted to hop on here to stay on my like, I want to create content type of buzz, but I'll honestly probably jump back into this crypto sphere right now, because why not? The time is literally now. Bitcoin is going crazy. Again, not a financial advisor, totally nerding out on this right now though. So maybe well, whole and free. And yeah, if you want to learn anything about anything between like the people you know, your cell phone, and the internet, and like throwing someone who knows something some money for valuing what they're giving to you, limitless out here, limit is the mind. Have fun with that. I'll be having fun with that, and I will look forward to sharing notes with you and potentially crossing paths one day.